I am really interested to get your take on. I see a tweet that just came out a couple of minutes ago, and it's from Joe Bowen here. So bringing this up for people to see, he tweeted out, the idea of going to any sporting event to support the home team is to be proactive. Give the team energy when they need it, not sitting down waiting to be reactive. The players can't say it, but I will. Tonight's crowd was, all caps, very disappointing. Carter, I've heard you talk about a few different times the fact that playing in Boston is extremely hard. We hear different players talk about these volatile, hostile environments, and whether you think those are acceptable or not as a fan, about how players are treated, whatever. It is what it is. It's the nature of the game, and it makes it a whole lot more difficult, and you have to figure out a way to get through it. You also have to figure out a way to kind of combat what happens when the fan base starts to rile up the home team. What did you make of the crowd here tonight? Are you finding this just as disappointing? I know you weren't in the building, so some of it can be a little bit more difficult to speak to. I fully understand that, but what do you think about what goes on at Scotiabank, and how the hell do they fix this, man?
Yeah, it's tough. You don't get a feel for it, obviously not having boots on the ground, but watching, one of my favorite things to do right now with my son is watch the intros to the game, right? Because there's nothing that gives you the vibes and excitement for a game. But when you watch Toronto compared to Edmonton, compared to Vancouver, just wait till it goes to Nashville. The place is nuts. I played there. It's almost like your heart rate gets fired up. There was games where I played in Nashville, triple overtime games, where I was honestly so exhausted after. I didn't even play. I was just on the bench because of the crowd. Where we get to Toronto, it just doesn't have that vibe. It doesn't have that energy, and it's there at times, but it's non-existent. And that's where having home ice is an advantage. I've played numerous games in Boston, and they are vile. You're hearing stuff, they're all over you every waking minute, every single thing. And I mean, I get there's a money that Toronto brings in, and there's the suits, and we talk about the Platinum Club and all the stuff that goes on. But at some point, you could still be a Platinum Club member and you could still enjoy the event. You could still be engaged. You can still, nobody cares. That's what you're there for. And I think more than ever this year, it got very exposed. Not that it hasn't in the past, but the fact that the game in Buffalo this year was crazy. It was awesome. Where just drag that into the playoffs. You're not asking a lot here. We're coming to you to come cheer on your team. And everybody loves the Leafs, but it just doesn't seem to get it done every year.
Yeah, that was pretty telling, that game in Buffalo. I believe that was the game that Domi came back and said, best crowd of the year. And I remember being on the show after, I'm like, okay, that's really cool, but also, what the hell are we talking about? That an away game in Buffalo was the best crowd of the year. That should never be the case. That should never be happening. I don't care how cool it is. That should not be the case for this team. Yeah, you got to find a way to get these, the fans have to be engaged from the puck drop. The players obviously have to be able to feed into it and provide energy, because we've had problems with them not starting on time. The old Mike Babcock, he didn't start on time. But at the exact same time, you could say in the same sentence, the fans have to provide energy here as well. It is important. It matters. It's reactive. It's an emotional sport. It's not played on the spreadsheet. It's played on the ice by human beings. It matters.
It does matter. And it has so much draw in the game. And I've been on the other side of it where I've played in tough environments, and say if I was fighting it a little bit as a goalie, and all of a sudden that crowd starts getting on you and starts closing in on you, next thing you know, no matter how much experience you have, there's times where you start to feel it, right? And just like you do at home, when you have that energy, you have that backing, pucks are getting over the red line, you're getting chances, the energy builds, the hype builds. Momentum is contagious, and it's something hard to control or create, but the fans help. And there's a huge advantage to having fans that are engaged. And again, tonight, watching from home, it just doesn't feel that way. Even when they get chances, there's a steady roar, and then it's gone. Yeah. There's no, it doesn't just stay and close. And so it's frustrating, because at some point you just want it to break through, and you'd rather see that Buffalo crowd bringing that kind of energy, because they can make a difference in a game.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Roseau. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at TheLeafsNation.com. Thanks so much for watching.